Nick Palme. You have lived a life of sin.
Oh my
You
God.
have stolen from the poor.
Yeah, I did.
You
They
have,
deserve
you have stolen from the rich.
it sometimes.
You have stolen from the middle class.
On occasion.
Are you ready to be absolved of it all and commit to a life of Christ?
If I have to, yes.
I will now dunk you in the sacrificial water, and you will become cleansed by the Lord. 3, 2, 1.
I don't know. Dude. Oh my God. Welcome to WAM.
Welcome to
That
WAM.
was
Did it taste a
insane.
little like piss?
A little bit. It was really salty. You should probably get that checked. But
Well, no, we can't clean it.
it happens. It gets the God out of it if you put
It's already
chlorine in there.
cleansed.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Episode 28.
Yes, sir.
We watched Book of Clarence. It was our first new release in January. Not our first review, but the first new release that we've watched. Probably the best release of January, which doesn't really say much, but still not bad.
It has to compete. It has to compete with Night Swim and Mean Girls, and those are, I guess, decent titles. Like that's going to be almost rememberable horror movie.
Is Night Swim just a Blumhouse film?
Yeah, it's a Blumhouse film about a haunted swimming pool.
No one will remember it.
You don't know that
until Night Swim 2.
And then there's Mean Girls 2, which is there's a ton of videos coming out of people getting angry at the movie because it was never advertised to be a musical.
Is it a musical?
Mean Girls 2 is a musical. It's based off of the musical.
From the Broadway?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's neat. That makes sense, though, but wah.
Yeah, Book of Clarence. It was okay. There's some stuff to love about it. There's some stuff that could have been cleaned up, but it had a lot of style to it that at times I enjoyed. What are you thinking?
I think they wanted to go for a very the whole time through this movie, all the transitions and stuff, I kept thinking Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Or like Life of Brian, even maybe. Just because it felt very much like they wanted it to be a play. It was 3 different acts. They had these like spotlight zoom ins on character faces and these like really cheap wipe transitions, kind of. And so they really did want it to feel like a story and a saga, but all the editing just kind of took me out of it more than anything, I think.
Yeah, I think if there was a element to point at as being the weaker link, I would say it was the editing or sound mixing, possibly.
Yeah.
I think this could be a project that would be saved in post-production to make it a little bit better. However, that just isn't something that happened.
Fuck that guy?
Wait, you hate that guy?
Hate that guy.
Okay. There are some really... You don't know if his name's Kevin.
Dude, but if someone's name is Kevin, they're shitting themselves right now.
I don't remember recording that.
Huh? Did I?
I have to stop night composing.
It's a problem.
Yeah, I think the soundtrack was iffy. I think there are parts where it was really good. I think its main issue was over prominence and overuse. There are times in which it should have been quiet, and I think it would have done better. But there are some really great times in the soundtrack, but it's just overshadowed by how much we're hearing it.
I don't know if there's any great points in the soundtrack. I didn't think any of the music fit. I didn't think any of it was very good. And they should have just changed it entirely. It was just not. I didn't think there was too much. I thought there was just, well, I guess any of it was too much, but I didn't think it was like overbearing at all.
They should have just pulled a portrait of a lady on fire and make a movie with no soundtrack.
Yeah, that would have been better than the fucking keyboard shit that we had.
It wasn't. Well, it maybe sounded
at some point there
electronic.
was some electronic synthwave kind of thing in the
Uh,
background, the little beep boop beep boops.
I think the trumpets were definitely electronic. It didn't sound actually recorded. I can see that with the soundtrack. But I guess story wise, there is some stuff to work on. We can go ahead and talk about the story.
Mm-hmm.
There are some really fun parts that are in the story. In fact, the comedy in this is one of the best elements. But I think when they're trying to tell this metaphor, it got a little jumbled up. Maybe a little bit too many things in the pan, too many ingredients. But
Mm-hmm.
so what? We start this with a chase scene where we see our main character Clarence, played by Lakeith Stanfield, racing this rich lady, and they're both on, what are those called? The things that they
Chariot.
attach the horses. Yeah, a chariot. Um,
Chariot.
chariot. They're both on chariots. They're both riding a horse, and they're saying, okay, whoever wins this race wins a lot of money. The rich girl kind of cheats, and she gets some children to poison Lakeith Stanfield with darts, knocking him to the ground. And she gets the money and the horse and the chariot. And Lakeith Stanfield didn't own all that. It was owned by Jebediah, who lended it to him at the time. So now, it's a classic story of give me your money back by this date or you're out of here. So, an average over the hedge situation.
And it also just happens to be the first coming of Christ.
Oh yeah, I forgot. And when we
Yeah.
figure that out, we also see Jesus Christ himself.
Yeah, he's chilling.
This did we say this story is based around like the Jesus Christ in that story?
No.
Oh, well,
We just established not we have no context about it.
okay, let's give you
You
guys
got
some
it.
context. Book of Clarence is a story about a guy pretending to be a messiah at the same time as Jesus Christ. This is a Black Israelite inspired film, so everyone in this film is black besides the Romans, who are depicted as white. And that is put in for metaphorical purposes, as well as just like there are some people who believe that's the genetic makeup of that time period. I have no horse in this race. I I have no idea. I'm not even gonna try to guess what all those people looked like. He sees Jesus Christ, and when he sees Jesus Christ, he finds his brother Thomas, but he's also played by Lakeith Stanfield. They're twins. He
Mhm.
goes to him, and he says, "Man, you're supposed to be like this almighty apostle, but you were not there for my mother right before she almost died." And then Thomas went, "You're a nobody." And then Clarence went, "I'm not a nobody." And he storms off. At the same time that this stuff is happening, we were introduced to, well, actually, in the first shot, we were introduced to this really grimy looking dude. He's just covered in grime. He has really long hair. And he keeps asking Clarence for money. He's like, "Spare change, man." And he keeps saying, "No, I will run over you with my horse."
Mhm. He just completely ignores this homeless man begging for change on the side of the street every single opportunity he can.
Yeah. Okay, so we have him and his close friend, who he considers more of a brother than his actual brother. They go to a hookah lounge after begging Jebediah to not think about the money, and Jebediah is like, "I'm thinking about the money." They go to a hookah lounge and they're like, "Okay, let's smoke this and then think about how we're gonna get all this money."
Mm.
So they start floating the second they get a whiff, and that's probably one of the most fun scenes in this. I really like that effect. It's really fun. They also introduced the idea of every time Clarence gets an idea, there's a literal like light bulb above his head, except it's not really a light bulb because light bulbs haven't been invented yet, but it's a
It's it's
light in the
it's
shape of a
it's a
light
big
bulb.
golden, shape of a light bulb, and also they're smoking opium.
Is
Um,
it opium?
it is opium.
Man,
But so yeah, I know, a little disappointing we can't get that here anymore, but
yeah, I know. It's making me yearn.
Yeah, so at this point, then they're smoking the opium, and then he gets this idea to become a fake messiah and to capitalize on Jesus and everything, and
Well,
like
be,
prove that it's all poopy
yeah.
and
Well,
like trick.
actually, in part one, his first idea is specifically to become an apostle.
Hey
His
man,
first idea
I'm just
is
reading the wiki.
at
Clarence, a marijuana smoker, steals wine from the Romans, smokes opium one day, and starts floating in the air with other opium smokers, seeing a light over his head, conceives the idea of being a fake messiah, capitalizing on the return of Jesus Christ to free himself of debt and start a life of glory. John the Baptist slaps him for being a hypocrite when he drops to be baptized.
I could have sworn he tries to be an apostle. He goes to the apostles, and Judas says, "You must free all the slaves, and then maybe you're an apostle." And then he has this really cool fight where he's fighting a slave for his freedom, which is weird. Like, why didn't the slave pull back? I know, like, his master said, if I see you pulling back, I'll kill you. But also, like, I would, like, try to pull back a little bit, you know? He's trying to free me. And he was
Yeah,
so happy when he was freed, too.
he was.
So, like, why'd he try so hard?
Yeah. Well,
He's
he wanted to go home.
he's somebody the immortal. His secondary title is the immortal. Um, and when he doesn't free all the slaves, but he frees one slave. It was funny seeing Clarence see all these slaves when he first holds up there and go, "Oh my gosh, there's so many slaves. How could anyone ever think about owning this many people? There's so many people here. How could we ever think about slavery?"
They just
And it
really need to
was
do like a like slow turn to the camera. Like that was it. There were so many points in this movie where they wanted to have a message and an idea to convey and to be like to make you think. And it just they were like kind of peppered throughout, but they didn't commit or double down to any of one specifically. So they just all got lost within each other, and so there's just a jumble of some kind of generic messages
yeah.
strewn throughout this movie.
I think there's a bit of a message to this. I think you can see this sort of as like a sort of an ideal of like what people do to get out of poverty. You can see this as like, are we putting flawed people to death, even if we think they're okay? There's some stuff going on there, but at the same time, when they talk more about American politics in these little quips, it's pretty funny, and I think it can give an idea more directly if you understand what they're talking about. But it's less in your face than a lot of other metaphorical media talking about the black condition. Stuff like They Clone Tyrone, which came out last year, was a lot more in your face. It explains it directly towards you. And this one is, it's about not that.
I enjoy that it's not just shoved down your throat. They don't act like you're a fucking 4-year-old that they can't understand shit until they spell it out for you. I enjoy not being treated like a toddler.
Yeah,
Um,
but seeing the Rotten Tomato reviews, maybe maybe people were lost.
yeah, maybe a little bit, but so they free Barabbas.
Barabbas the Immortal.
Yeah. So they free Barabbas, and then he's like, "Hey man, we're chill now. I'll serve you and be cool as fuck." He's basically Achilles. He
Yeah,
just can't.
exactly,
Yeah,
Achilles.
he just can't be killed unless like one little spot in his heel. And
Hmm.
now he's like his bodyguard strongman type that walks around with him, helping him trick people into thinking he's like a miracle worker and all that kind of stuff as they rake
Yeah.
in just a mountain of coin in order to pay that original guy back for the cart and the
Yeah.
horse and everything that they had lost.
Well, yeah, they just do stuff where it's like, oh, this guy's going to pretend to be blind, this guy's going to pretend to be dead, and then they just keep like curing him. My favorite part in this is specifically where he goes, "Dude, I think we have enough money now." And then Clarence is just like, "Oh, word? Let's keep doing it."
Um,
Like, he doesn't pay off the debt beforehand. He's just like, "Let's keep racking money, and then I'll lose it later. Don't worry."
what? No, they have enough. No, They have enough money to do the thing, then he just goes back and frees all the slaves.
Well, he does. I thought that it was he has enough money, he keeps doing it, and then once he has a crap ton of money, he frees all the slaves. So we have Clarence benefiting a lot from just like his whole shtick of being like a miracle worker, being the next Messiah. A line he says a lot throughout this is like, knowing something is better than believing it. This is referenced more and more throughout all of this. But we have his secondary, his brother, not his biological brother, but his close friend, seeing the girl who won the chariot battle having stones thrown at her. He goes to protect her as he keeps getting stones thrown at her. And then we had a little bit of a cameo in this. Jesus Christ again.
Yeah, I can't
Came
believe
up.
they got him for this. That must have been expensive.
Big pull. Yeah.
For real.
They well, who was the bigger pull, Jesus Christ or the kid from Stranger Things?
You know, the beard they had to stick on his face probably cost a lot of money, but Benedict Cumberbatch was probably a pretty big pull.
Benedict Cumberbatch was big. I feel like that was definitely just like here's a connection thing. Do we want to talk about his role now or reveal it later?
Maybe it comes up later. That's all right.
Okay. We see, so Jesus Christ comes in, he forces the stones in the air, drops them, he gives his little speech, he who is without sin throw the first stone. Clarence's friend brother goes, "Oh my God, Clarence, I saw Jesus," and then Clarence goes, "You're wrong,
dude, you're freaking out, calm down, you're tweaking."
I think that is what he was
saying. I need you to
lock
it in right now.
Would you do that to me if I said I saw Jesus? Would you just be like, "Dude, do not embarrass me right now"?
There are bugs in your skin. There are bugs in your skin. Get them out. Rip your skin off. Your skin itches. There are bugs under your skin.
So once they meet back up, Clarence and his friend, Clarence is actually on a date with Jebediah's sister, who he's really close to, the girl that he tries to win over. We have them do this really neat dance that I thought you liked. That might be the only time you liked the music, when they do the little dance sequence.
No, I thought the music was bad in that scene specifically too, but the dance was okay.
Yeah, the dance was fun. It was
a
really
funny dance.
Yeah, it was disconnected from it, and I was like, man, this feels out of place. But it was good, so it being out of place was a compliment.
It was just a little flash mob, but it wasn't too long. It was just a little bit. It wasn't like an insane amount of people either. It was okay.
Yeah. It's like if they had a cannoli on the menu of like a Mexican place. It shouldn't be there, but I'm glad it is.
Yeah, but I'll take a cannoli.
Yeah. Once this dance sequence ends, Lakeith Stanfield kisses the girl. The girl leaves because she's a little shy, and he's like, "Oh, I'll chase after her." And then, boom, there's an army waiting for him. It's Jebediah's army. Jebediah goes, "Okay, here's the thing. I'm a big Christ guy. You know me. I'm gonna either kill you right now, or you'll perform a miracle and prove you're the Messiah." And then the Romans come in and say, "No, we're supposed to kill him."
No, but I want to do it. We said we'd do it first.
Yeah, I remember how much you liked the one dude who was the Roman, the one that kind of looked stupid. The blonde one with the bowl cut.
Oh, I didn't like him. I just wanted him to die. He looked like that dude from. I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but he looked like who I think is a prince in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I think you're right. There is someone that looks like him in Game of Thrones.
But I really was waiting for him to die. But they go through this whole exchange where I forget exactly what the deal is, because they're bad. He's like, "I'm gonna fuck you up." No, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then the bad guy ends up turning on the Romans and like teaming up with our boy, and I didn't understand why.
I think he's against the Romans, so it's like an enemy to enemy is my friend thing. And then also we had the whole thing with the Immortal, where when Lakeith is being pulled away, the Immortal goes, "I'm gonna beat you up," and instead Lakeith just says, "Run." And and Bullcut just goes, "Hand me a spear," and he starts chucking him at the Immortal. First time it hits him straight in the chest, and he's like, I'm named this for a reason. He keeps trekking. Second time, he gets it in his right heel, and he's still trekking, even though that's his weak spot. Third time, straight in the heart, and he just goes still. He doesn't fall over. He goes still. Dude's like, job well done.
He's like,
Lackey,
nice.
go grab the spears.
Yeah, go get him. And then he runs up and he goes to grab the spear, pulls it out the long way. I think pushing it out would have been a lot easier. But pulls the spear out, and then whatever, the guy's like, wrong heel, ba ba ba, I'm not dead. Pulls the spears out, runs away all bloody and such. Do we really see him do anything major after this point, or is he just kind of gone?
After this point, we see him in the crowds that are looking upon Clarence later, but no, after this, he's set to doing nothing. He had this really cool moment and then a time of healing.
You know, he's immortal, but still got to heal up.
Yeah. I mean, that has to suck, though, because, like, there are things in which you could live on. Like you don't have to change your schedule for it because it won't kill you if you keep going. But, dude, having a hole in your chest, I'd take a day off.
That's a problem. That's a really inconvenient thing.
Unless you like need the storage space.
Yeah, well, that's good. You can hide goodies in there.
Would you accept candy from a man who pulled it out of his chest?
It depends. If it was like a hard candy, I'd be okay with it. Like if he pulled out like a Jolly Rancher, I'd be chill. But if he pulled out like a Milky Way bar, I'd be concerned.
What's the difference?
Well, it'd be all melted if it was a Milky Way bar.
Oh, yeah.
The hard candy, I can just be like, man, this hard candy, it'll be salty for a second because of the blood and such, but then it'll just be like, hard candy. The chocolate, it'll be like melted in with the blood and like intermingled, and then I can't get my mental gymnastics around that.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. So at this point, Clarence is in possession by the Romans, and we're first introduced to James McAvoy playing an almost Caesar.
Almost. It's like Caesar, but from Fallout New Vegas. Hazar.
Yeah, he has eyeliner on, and he looks it's not something Roman. You wouldn't see at a game bar.
Yeah, he's a Roman man. He's like the sergeant commander, big officer of this little group of soldiers commanding this town. He
holds the trial for Clarence. And he's like, "Are you the Messiah?" And he said, "I'm not the Messiah." And everybody's like, "Oh, but I thought you were." And he's like, "No, I lied." And James McAvoy says, "Well, you're probably going to tell people you're the Messiah if I let you out. You know what I mean? So I'll let you a deal. I'll kill you if you can walk on water. If you can't, I'll let you live." And he goes, "But I can't swim." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, sure. I don't care."
That's rough.
So this man he has his whole family in the crowd watching. By the way, his brother Thomas still not hanging out with his mom for some reason.
Yeah, she's like 20 feet away. It says
he just
nothing.
Hates her.
Hates his mom. After that whole speech in the beginning, didn't change his mind. Still hates his mom.
They're in the same place.
You're about to see your brother die. You think she'd want some solace? No. Fuck that lady. I'm going to stand over here. I'm going to stand away from her. I know his ass was across the courtyard.
So we have Clarence takes a big old gulp and he's like, "Okay, I'm ready to drown." And then he just fully walks on water. Sort of as if God is telling him, "You're going to die the most painful way possible."
God totally fucked with, like, he thought he was doing him a solid here. Really wasn't good. And like he starts walking on water and he's like, "I don't know what's happening. Holy shit. And then the Roman guy is like, "Dude, I wouldn't have let you drown. And now I have to crucify you though. So I'm sorry." That's rough. That's it. Like, God really fucked this guy up. He did not have to die like that. He would have been fine. The Roman liked him. He would have been chill.
Yeah, I think the best part about this is the idea that there's irrefutable proof that he is like a messenger of God in some sense. And the Romans are still like, see, we have to kill him.
Well, now we gotta. I mean, like, what? At that point, why would you not just be like, well, this is it, and
Well,
like freak the fuck out? But also, if I saw a man walking on water, I would be scared and want to hit him too. So
I'd want to contain him.
I'd want to keep him away from me, preferably on a piece of wood in a T shape.
Capital or lowercase?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, so he's sort of been destined to hang, or not hang. Well, I guess hang.
I'm
Like
destined to hang, bro. Come on over.
that's a good dude. That's such a good T-shirt.
Destined to hang. That's sick. Anyway, yeah.
James McAvoy offers him a plea deal in this little prison, and he says, "Hey, man, I'm really just looking for Jesus. If you give me Jesus, I'll let you free." And this is when we remember that Jesus is integral to the plot again. And Clarence just goes, "Hey, I could give you Jesus for 1,000 schmeckles." And James McAvoy says 50 silver. And he's like, "Fine. Jesus' actual name is Judas." And James McAvoy goes, "Silly you. We know all about Judas."
So Judas, they already had paid 30 silver to double cross Jesus and such.
Yeah.
And so that his little plan failed, and he was taken
Yeah,
out
we
to be
had
crucified anyway.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the Last Supper scene in this?
I do, not vividly.
It was so weird because it's a retelling of like the dinner, and it explicitly says, "Hey, whoever dips their Jesus just goes, whoever dips their bread in the gravy next betrays me." And everyone's like, "Okay, I just won't dip in the gravy." And then everyone goes fully still, and Judas just has like this arm cramp that's forcing him to do it. And he's like, "No, no,
No, I don't like gravy. This gravy, though.
Yeah, he Judas just goes, "Oh, it's so good."
This gravy's delicious. It tastes like revenge.
um, so this basically all sets in stone that that Clarence is set to die, but there's one more person that's set to die as well. Do we remember Benedict Cumberbatch is in this movie?
Barely. So the dirty bum that was all sooty and gross and nasty, at the beginning of this movie that Clarence just totally like kind of waved off to the side and everything is Benedict Cumberbatch. He gets picked up as well. He is cleaned up by some people, and Jesus walks up to him, pops a coin in his hand. The coin multiplies constantly, so now he has money. And so he
Yeah.
goes somewhere, gets cleaned up. After he gets all cleaned up and stuff, he walks out, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's what Jesus would look like. That's so amazing, angelic." And Benedict Cumberbatch just standing there like, "What the fuck? Okay." And then he starts walking down the street, and people are just praising him like, "Oh my God, Jesus, I love you!" Like giving him things. He's just giving people money, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the generic, like everything's going my way guy walking happy down the street scene.
And
Um,
then the
and,
Romans.
and then the Romans come and pick him up and crucify him. Um, and, and we didn't see any of that. We only find this out once we see Clarence. He carries his cross up a hill. We see our other
Mm-hmm.
supporting characters kind of around him, and he tells them not to do anything, like not to stop them or intervene or anything. And Clarence
Mm-hmm.
gets crucified, and then we see Benedict Cumberbatch being like, "You think that sucks? I'm not even the fucking guy." And someone else is painting him as Jesus. So this movie has the balls to say that like Jesus didn't get crucified and he was just going around. He was chill, and Benedict Cumberbatch was actually the one that got crucified. Poor Benedict Cumberbatch. What did he do?
I
Sherlock?
think look, it might be blasphemy to say that Benedict Cumberbatch died for our sins, However, it makes a really good bumper sticker.
It does. It'd be a really good picture to have.
But it would be so long.
I'd want a
Benedict
picture of
Cumberbatch died for your sins.
I'd want that painting of Benedict Cumberbatch Jesus, and I'd put it up in a church somewhere.
There's did you hear about that person that had like framed photos of Obi-Wan Kenobi in like a church?
No, that sounds great.
Yeah, just prequels Obi-Wan Kenobi. He did look a bit like Jesus.
He did. But yeah, so our boy is crucified. He's dying as hell. Gives this whole monologue to the folk under him as he's dying.
Yeah.
Nolan.
We have Thomas and his mother actually standing together.
Wow, it only took your brother getting fucking nailed on a piece of wood for you to go walk over to your mother.
Your brother only had to almost died twice.
God, you're a fucking apostle, right? That's great.
The best part is he for sure isn't the worst apostle because there's Judas.
You're right. He really probably doesn't feel too bad. He's like, well, at least I didn't try to kill the guy.
Well, I mean, John tried to
kill.
Remember when John tried to kill Clarence during his baptism?
I don't mean that.
I
meant Judas.
Yeah. So what's the list of your apostle ranking? I'm putting Patrick Mahomes on top.
A fucking NA. I can't name that many. Kevin, Mike, Gary, Buse.
Yeah. So to make a long story short, Clarence dies.
No way.
And then 3 days later, he's brought back to life by this little known guy out of Nazareth.
Jesus.
Yeah, what's up?
Is that how you... Jesus. Jesus. That's it. So Jesus wakes him up and he's like, hey, man. Crazy, right? I know. Anyway, holes in your hand. Gone. No more of those. Thanks. I'll see you on the flip. Then he walks out.
Yeah. So this movie that's been overall pretty pro-Christian just straight up believes that Jesus never forgave us.
Nope. Still sinful as hell.
We're all going to hell.
I mean, did you see Thor: Love and Thunder? There's no way that motherfucker is getting in the good list.
Do you mean just like the idea of the God Slayer?
No. Just Taika Waititi. Or what fucking his
Taika Waititi.
Cunt. Yeah. He's going to hell. He's burning. For sure.
Oh, so wait, was the so is this specifically just about Taika Waititi?
Yes.
You just really hate Thor 4.
I just hate him. He's not a good director.
Yeah, I mean,
he should be put in a baby stool and locked in there for a while. Think about what he did.
I like 3 of his movies. What We Do in the Shadows, Thor 3, which I know you're not a huge fan of. And then what? I already said that. The one where he played Hitler.
The Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah.
Still haven't seen that.
You don't have to. Like, it's a little fun, but it's not like a go-to. They made Nazis really sympathetic, but it was okay because they were also homosexual.
Good. But yeah, so overall, what do you feel like you're going to want to rate this movie?
I'm thinking it was a little jumbled. The overall meaning wasn't there. Editing was whack. Soundtrack could have been better. I will agree it's the best movie of January, but man, do January movies suck. So yeah. I'm probably just going to give this a 3 out of 5, where I think it's better good than bad. that doesn't mean it's great. It's okay.
Nothing makes me want to rewatch this movie.
Mm-hmm.
There were a handful of really interesting shots. Or like the one hookah scene was kind of a neat idea, and then like the Last Supper and then some other really specific shots were cool. But besides that, nothing was really inventive. The story wasn't necessarily anything insane or gripping. Because in the first 5 seconds, I knew he was going to get crucified. So the whole time, it was just waiting for him to be crucified. And so it felt like I already had the beginning and the end of the story in the first 20 minutes. And so that aspect I didn't really love. The music, I think, totally fell flat in its face.
Yeah.
I enjoyed how they lightened up the pretty boring and stale like area and subject matter with the comedy. So I think overall probably a 3, just because it was an okay movie. It wasn't painful as I thought it was going to be, being like a religions more centered movie. It was fun, but I just really don't want to watch it again. There's nothing pulling me back to it.
Yeah. Man. Imagine if this movie was good. I think it could have had a lot of potential if it was a good movie.
Yeah, I agree. But imagine what this ad segment would sound like.
I think it'd sound like this.
Here at WAM, we use this podcast as an artful avenue to blissfully and peacefully vent our fiery, unbridled rage buried deep, deep down. And now you can too.
It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you will always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable.
If you thought about podcasting before and you realize that you need a lot of different tools and services, those days are over. With Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform, you can create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code WAM and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan.
We want you to have the same easy experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
The headlines.
That was fun. Anyway, tell me the new things in film.
We had the Golden Globes recently. I'll speed run them as much as I can. The host was really, really bad. He's been like on a trail talking about how mean everybody was to him there. Afterwards, it's been really funny. I think it was Joe Coy, some comedian who apparently is good, except for this. What else happened? We had some really good wins. We had Cillian Murphy with Best Drama in a Movie. We had Paul Giamatti with Best Comedy Actor. We had Emma Stone for Best Actress. We had, I think, Anatomy of a Fall, a popular French film, won Best Screenplay. I was really angry at that because the screenplay was boring. Barbie didn't win much of anything, and I think most people's favorite part of the night was seeing Maestro win nothing, specifically when Bradley Cooper made that movie to get awards because he was angry A Star Is Born didn't get anything.
Because Bohemian Rhapsody stole it all?
Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody stole his Best Actor. I think Bradley Cooper probably did better than Rami Malek in like comparing movies. Rami Malek I love though, even though Bohemian Rhapsody was a little but yeah, Bradley Cooper had the problem of making a good movie during a great year. I just don't think he's going to get anything this award season.
Like Spy Kids 4.
Explain.
See, it was about time. And it was a British dog that was a robot.
I see it.
No, you smell it with your scratch and sniff interactive smelling cards.
I can smell what you're scratching.
What else?
Yeah, going away from the going away from the Os for the Golden Globes, we have some casting that's pretty cool. We have a casting for Abby in The Last of Us Season 2, which means that we really have to pray for her. Who she is? It's Caitlin Dever. She's not incredibly well known, but she has to be like on a suicide hotline now for all the hate she's going to get for that role.
People were so mean to the first girl who played Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
Just for how she looks. Nothing, just immediately that. They were like, man, she acts good, but God, the looks, like everyone, I felt so bad for her.
Bella Ramsey did incredible. I'm surprised how the internet reacted. Oh my
I
gosh,
know.
what a performance.
Everyone was like, yeah, she acted so good, but God, that face. And I'm like, dude, like, you're a huge actor and like this fucking second main character on a huge HBO Max show, and you're still getting shit for just being fugly. Like, that's rough.
The first casting has also come out for the live action How to Train Your Dragon. We're seeing the casting of Galber the Belch as Nick Frost from, which is a great casting. I love Nick Frost, and I think he's going to play that role incredibly well.
I want to see him with a big blonde beard. I think it'll be funny.
Dude, do you know how long it's been since we've seen Nick Frost's chin? He's had like the hugest, he's had the longest beard forever, and now he's just going to have a handlebar?
And now he's just going to have one hand and one leg? That's crazy.
We had, you remember Stranger Things Season 4, right?
Sadly, yeah.
You remember Argyle, the pizza guy from California?
I do. He didn't get a call back.
Yeah, he was one of the better new introduced characters. I messed with him. I thought he was fun.
He was like the merchandised character for that season with the whole pizza van and smoking weed and shit. He was like the character that everyone riffed on and shit and made memes of.
Wasn't that Eddie as well?
Yeah, but he also died.
Yeah, that's true. If you're going to have a niche little character to stay around, it would be him.
Spoilers
but he's just
for
not there.
Stranger Things Season 4 if you haven't watched that yet. Anyway.
It's a 10-year-old show.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started. Yeah.
Oh, we have big news too. So there had been a Daredevil show, and going into production, they were told to scrap it and work it all again by Kevin Feige. There were a lot of issues people were considering with the show, especially since Foggy and Karen were not set to return, which were the big two side characters from the original show.
Are you not going to have his fucking side lawyer?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that. Whatever. What?
They're back! They've been casted for the redo of the show. We have great showrunners attached to it. Sorry, the Nick alarms are going off.
Got excited.
I need to rewatch Daredevil. I started season 1 again, and I was like, wow, you're telling me stuff based on comic books could be good?
You're telling me this guy is blind, but he can actually see? It's just fucked up vision? Wow.
World on fire.
He can just see then. He's lying. He can just see bad. He can see though.
He can't see. He's just really good at knowing where stuff is.
No, he could. I see a world on fire. You can see. Damn it. Fucking Mr. Daredevil. Don't give me that shit. Asshole.
Who's on trial here, huh?
Yeah, fucker.
We have some new project releases. Wes Anderson's next film is going to star Michael Cera and Bill Murray. They're making a spin-off show of Young Sheldon.
Younger Sheldon?
Not Younger Sheldon. It's based off of his older brother, who people liked more than Sheldon in that show. Because why would you make a show about Young Sheldon?
Because he was quirky. And said Bazinga.
They're doing a 28 Years Later movie, which will be the third movie in that franchise. Have you ever tried to watch 28 Days Later?
No.
Let me tell you something. You can't buy it anywhere. You can't stream it anywhere. The only place you can watch it is one of those free movie places, but the ads are longer than the movie.
Are they good? Are they produced well though? The ads?
Yeah, they're good produced ads.
I mean, do you get the same block of like 3, or is it like different ones at least?
They're different. Well, actually, there was this same ExxonMobil app which talked about how they were fighting climate change. You're a gas company. Why are you trying
They're
to
doing their best.
pretend? I wouldn't bring up climate change if I was a gas company. I just never put it in an advertisement.
You know, I wouldn't advertise as a gas company. Who the fuck needs to see an ad for gas?
Have you thought about buying ExxonMobil recently?
Well, no, I have.
And then the funniest thing about 28 Days Later is it was filmed at like 480p. So it wasn't a great movie experience, but it's a good story.
How many are there?
There's 28 Days Later, and then there's 28 Weeks Later, which you can get anywhere. Like, it's so well distributed. It's mostly just because the first one has like really weird copyright laws, because I think they might have filmed illegally some parts.
Intriguing.
I mean, it's known as like it's like a guerrilla filmmaking movie because they had to get like very specific stuff done to show London completely empty without CGI.
That's really hard. Like the one, what was the one movie that got that shut down Times Square for Tom Cruise?
That was Vanilla Sky.
It was.
Yeah, let me tell you, I hate that movie.
Yeah.
It's so weird because Tom Cruise's character is like just a psychopath. He's like one of the most evil characters I've ever seen, but it's not displayed as that. He's supposed to be like this victim.
Yeah, he's just kind of batshit. He's pretty unhinged.
Tom Cruise or the guy in Vanilla Sky?
Yeah. But do you have any other news?
I'm looking. Oh yeah. You know Mia Goth from the from XXX and Pearl. She's sort of like this lead in this trilogy franchise from A24.
Yes.
She, on the set of Maxine, is accused of kicking a actor, I think it was a stunt actor, in the face, just like on purpose without without being told to. And then when he got up and he had a concussion, by the way, she just went, "What are you going to do about it? Huh?"
Oh, well, get her ass on. What the fuck?
He wasn't given a ride home or any medical treatment with a concussion, and he had to get a ride, or he drove home and almost got in a crash. There's now a huge lawsuit happening because of it.
Good for him. Jesus Christ. What a prick.
Yeah, that's pretty not good. Not WAM approved.
So do you have any evidence to support your claim? Well, her boot mark is right on my face here.
If you see here on my nose, it says property of Mia Goth.
It's a size 7 heel you can see right here on my left cheek.
Man, you gotta just stop attacking people on set, where there's like 1,000 people.
You gotta just start wearing helmets or full ballistic armor in Alec Baldwin's case on set.
I like to think that every time Alec Baldwin is on set, there's like 6,000 riot shields.
Oh yeah, anytime Alec Baldwin goes near a set at any point this time, there's going to be 3 people all around him just making sure that no guns are near him. They're going to give him a Nerf gun. We'll just CG in the rear one later. They have the prop one.
They have a hostage negotiator on set at all times in case things get bad. Where it's like, Alec Baldwin, if we got you another Oscar, would that make you happy?
He's just in like when he's trying to make jokes and stuff, but people just take it all way too seriously. So he like makes like finger guns and they like all duck down and like.
Yeah, man. Guys, my Wi-Fi went out. So So whatever we were talking about before, that's over. Sorry, guys.
Oops. But
this was episode 28. We watched Book of Clarence. You can, if you really don't have anything else to do this January, or Soul is also out in theaters right now. Oppenheimer's back in theaters right now. Those are good movies.
Go see Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, good. Big bomb. Josh is there.
Yeah, that's been us. So can you send us off, Nick?
All right. So I hope you all enjoyed. We'll be back next week. Again, just want to thank Zencastr for sponsoring this episode and WAM. Pretty soon you'll see us back on YouTube and hopefully Instagram and our TikTok reels. Just posting our podcast there. So find us on YouTube at WAM the podcast, or I'll put the link in the description here. This has been WAM,
and you've been whammed.
Okay, bye bye.
Another W for the OG.